Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you this US pole 400 watt metal halide canopy or parking garage, whatever you want to call it, light fixture. Now, here we have the front or the bottom or whatever you want to call it. You can see the reflector assembly as well as the bulb in the inside, and you can tell this bulb is pretty much crammed in there. That's because this fixture is actually designed for the reduced envelope 400 watt metal halide bulbs. Now, I used to have a whole lot of these fixtures, and this is the last one I have that's all original. I only have one other one, which I converted to 70 watt high pressure sodium, so I only have two of these things. I used to have a whole bunch of them. I recycled them and kept the ballasts, the insides, for future projects. So anyway, out of all of them, only one fixture had the original reduced envelope bulb. Now, why the original owner of these used these bigger bulbs, either probably was because they had other fixtures that used the big bulbs and it was just cheaper to get the big ones in bulk than it was to buy the smaller ones. But anyway, they made them fit. The only way to get it out is to kind of push on the reflector there when you're unscrewing it, but they fit just fine. The only problem is that the arc tube does not line up directly in the center of the fixture, which is a problem for the reflector assembly. As you can see here, it's a little bit above center. So that's a little bit of the story of the reflector assembly and the type of bulb that it uses. You can see here the US Pole logo. You can also see one of my street lights there in the reflection. US Pole logo. We're going to tilt this thing up so you can see it's really heavy. The ballast is on the top end here where my hand is. It's over here is where the ballast is. So anyway, on the bottom here they used eye bolts to hang the fixture up. They use these chains and of course have little hooks on the end which would hook onto an eye bolt or whatever they ended up having on the ceiling. Both sides have that, and if you can tell, it's not a perfect, they're not both the same length, and that's because of course there's more weight on this end with the ballast, so they're compensating for that so it hangs level. Of course the other side is the exact same thing. Right here we have a little cover stopper. The cord should have originally came out in the middle, but as you'll see when I open this up, there's absolutely no room to put the cord through there, so they had to put it over here and buy stoppers to stop it, stop the hole so water doesn't get in. But as you can tell, never really got rained on because it's quite dirty. So anyway, I'm going to put this one back down, set it on the edge of the table here so that the cord can stick out of the bottom there. So I'm going to take off these screws and we'll take a look at the inside. Okay, so I got the screws unscrewed now, and I just want to show you the interesting hinge that's going on right here. You just lift it up, and pull it out, and it kind of pushes the glass away, and that's actually a really good design because then you don't need a hinge here, and you can have better sealing along here with the gasket. So this is a really good idea. Now, I haven't opened this one up before, but as you can tell, all of them were originally fitted for 277 volts. And as you can tell right here, they're telling you to use the reduced envelope lamp. But of course, they never used that, and it ended up working just fine anyway. Here you can see the US Pole sticker. It's UL listed, of course. And now what I'm going to do is, well, here, I'll show you how to take out this bulb since it's so big in here. See if it'll come out. I've never taken this one apart, like I said, so you can see it scraping against the bottom there. So it's not designed for this fixture at all. There's something really sharp down here. I don't know. This is why I put the correct bulb in and not these things. Oh, come on. So you gotta like do this really weird angle jerk just to get it out. Anyway, that was really hard to get out, and I don't know, look at that, it scraped it all up. Anyway, I'm just gonna get a regular reduced envelope one, and so when we fire it up we'll actually have the correct bulb in the inside. That's probably gonna roll away, but hopefully it won't if it stays right there. So as you can tell, you have to really push against this, and like I said, I'll go and get a reduced envelope bulb. But what I'm going to do now anyway is take these screws off so we can see the ballast in the inside, so we'll be right back. Okay, so I took the reflector out, you can see it right there, and here's the insides. Over here, I guess I lied on what side the ballast was on. It's actually on this side. We have the ballast. If I remember correctly, it's an advanced ballast, as they were the exact same thing. Actually, only one of them had a replacement ballast, which was a GE, and it was only for 120 volt. Now, another interesting thing, I've never opened this one up and I couldn't remember, but they must have ordered them all for 277, but they capped them off and replaced it with 120 and used 120 instead, because I haven't opened this one up. So it's already wired for 120, but originally was wired for 277. Anyway, you can see the ballast here again. Very nice. We can see the capacitor down here. Of course, it's that color from the heat. We can see the other side of that plug to plug the hole from their mistake of putting the power through there. And the only reason you can't put the power through is because this thing is so thick. There's literally no room to fit this guy in there. So that's why they had to move it over here. One more interesting fact that I didn't mention in the 70 watt high pressure sodium video is you can see right here there used to be holes, and these holes were for this to be a shoebox light, and you would have, you know, your little arm right here. So these are actually, again, modified to be canopy lights. They just put a different reflector assembly inside of them. At least I think. Maybe they would have used the same exact assembly, I don't know. And they just plugged up these holes, drilled new ones, and threaded them, because this back piece here is pretty thick, so they can just thread them and put that in there. And so that's another interesting fact. This would have been a shoebox light, but they modified it. So I'm guessing this US pole company uses the same type of housing for a lot of different fixtures, because there's a lot of different modifications going on here, from the plugging of a hole all the way to plugging of a hole, I guess. A lot of different modifications to make it the way the customer ordered it. So anyway, let me put this back in here. I'll show you how you do that. What you want to do is put this end in first. It's kind of going to go below this bar over here. Fit it down in the socket. Come on. Oh, I guess this one, we're going to put it above this. It's usually not this hard to get in. Anyway, I'll screw it back in, and I'll show you the reduced envelope bulb and then turn it on. Okay, so before I close this fixture up, I want to show you the difference between the regular size envelope and the reduced size envelope that should be in here. Now, this is a bulb that came with one of the fixtures that actually had the correct bulb in it, obviously. This is the only reduced envelope 400 watt metal halide bulb that I have, and like I said, it came in one of these fixtures, and this is the one that we just took out a bit ago. So anyway, you can see the size difference here is quite a big difference. So let's go ahead and put this guy off to the side. I set him on the grass. And we'll put this guy on. Now, I guess I lied a bit, because the arc tube is not in the middle of the center here, but this is the correct bulb to be used within these fixtures. So they designed it to have the arc tube down here, I guess. Whatever, they designed it for this size of bulb. So there it is in here. Take a look at the etch, I guess, quick. It's a Sylvania etch, pretty much the exact same etch as the other one, except this one is the reduced envelope version. So I'm going to close this thing up and then we'll turn it on. Apparently when I put this thing back together, I left a piece of grass in there. But anyway, that's okay, because I'm going to put that big bulb back in here and take this one back out and put it back in my collection for safekeeping. So I'm going to just move the fixture out a little bit so there's no pressure on the cord. There we go. And it's at a nice angle too. So let's set the camera down. Right here you get a nice close-up view of the arc tube. Very nice. And let me get the extension cord here. And let's see. Hopefully it goes in on the time here. So 3, 2, 1. There it goes. Took it a second. You can hear the ballast in there humming away. Eventually you can see the halide salts in there. They'll vaporize and help enhance the arc, give it better color and all the above. So we'll wait for this thing to warm up and come right back. Okay, so this thing's at full brightness now, and it's really cranking out the light, of course. But it's not as bright as you'd think it'd be, because of course it's daylight outside. But it is really bright. I'll try to get an angle here so you can see where the light is reflected. The light is very nice and crisp white, this metal halide bulb is. It's not towards the warmer end or the cooler end, it's a nice pure white. Can't really see there because it's so bright. The ballast has a very nice hum to it. I don't know if you can hear that. Overall, a really nice canopy, parking garage, whatever you want to call it, light of 400 watt metal halide. I suppose you could put a mercury vapor bulb in there too, as the ballast does support it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and also please comment, rate, and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.